Can one nation, a permanent member of the UN Security Council, truly be a pariah state and still hold such immense power on the world stage? Or is it time for a seismic shift in global diplomacy, one that could reshape international relations as we know them? Before we dive into this explosive development, if you want to stay on top of everything happening in US politics, hit that subscribe button right now and leave a like. It really helps this channel grow. Congressman Don Bacon, a Republican representing Nebraska, is making waves with his unwavering stance against Russia's presence on the UN Security Council. He's not just hinting at it. He's explicitly calling for Russia's removal, labeling the nation a pariah state, and asserting that it should be treated that way. This isn't a new sentiment for Bacon. He's been vocal about this for years. Back in February 2022, shortly after Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, he expressed outrage that Russia was even chairing the Security Council, stating, and I quote, "We should kick the Russians out of as many international organizations and forums as possible. Russia is a pariah state and should be treated as such." Just a few months ago, in December 2023, he doubled down, calling the United Nations an embarrassment, with Russia on the Security Council, citing the invasion of Ukraine and alleged crimes against humanity. He has repeatedly urged the UN General Assembly to vote on removing Russia from this crucial panel. Now, for some context, the UN Security Council is arguably the most powerful body within the United Nations. It's comprised of 15 members, but 5 of them are permanent: the United States, the United Kingdom, France, China, and, of course, Russia. These 5 nations hold veto power, meaning any one of them can block any substantive resolution. This permanent status is a relic of the post-World War II era, designed to maintain stability among the victorious powers. However, as Congressman Bacon argues, when one of these permanent members becomes an aggressor, the very system designed for stability becomes a tool of obstruction. Bacon's call for Russia's expulsion comes at a critical juncture, not just for international relations, but also for the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. He's a strong proponent of increased military assistance to Ukraine, and he believes that pushing Russia out of international forums is part of a broader strategy to isolate and weaken it. He argues that Russia is struggling on the battlefield and in the Black Sea, with its economy in dire straits. He contends that Russia's primary remaining tactic is to bomb Ukrainian cities and civilians, making the passage of Russian sanctions and military aid to Ukraine absolutely essential. He's looking to the House of Representatives to vote on this vital aid package in the coming weeks. This situation is further complicated by other developments. We've seen reports of Israel accusing the UN of placing it on the same sexual violence blacklist as Hamas terrorists, leading Israel to sever ties. This highlights the intense scrutiny and accusations of bias that the UN faces from multiple actors on the global stage. Furthermore, there are reports of drone strikes hitting an apartment building in Romania, a NATO member, as Russia continues its attacks on neighboring Ukraine. These incidents underscore the immediate and tangible threat that Russia's actions pose to regional security. What does Bacon's demand for Russia's removal from the Security Council actually mean? For starters, it's an incredibly difficult, if not nearly impossible, task. Article 6 of the UN Charter, which deals with expulsion, requires a recommendation from the Security Council itself to be acted upon by the General Assembly. Given that Russia is a permanent member with veto power, it's highly unlikely they would vote to expel themselves. However, Bacon's persistent calls raise awareness and put pressure on the international community. It forces a conversation about the legitimacy and effectiveness of the Security Council when its permanent members are engaged in aggressive warfare. The potential outcomes are varied. At best, it could galvanize international opinion and lead to further diplomatic isolation of Russia, perhaps even a vote in the General Assembly that, while non-binding, carries significant political weight. At worst, it highlights the limitations of the UN system and the deep divisions that exist among its member states, potentially leading to further paralysis on critical global issues. For Ukraine, it means continued advocacy for aid and a broader push to hold Russia accountable on the international stage. For the UN, it's a stark reminder of the need for reform and the challenges of maintaining peace and security when a P5 member acts as an aggressor. So what do you think about this? Should Russia be kicked out of the UN Security Council, Or is this a futile effort that only highlights the UN's weaknesses? Drop your opinion in the comments below. I read every single one. This is a critical moment for international diplomacy, and your voice matters. We will continue to follow these developments closely.